Madam Chairperson, distinguished panelists, and friends in the audience. Of course, the speakers earlier than me, they have spoken about, one has given some ICT perspectives, the other speaker has given the general agony that the university education is facing today. Since I've been dabbling with management education for the last 3 decades, 3 to 4 decades, so I thought I'll give you my perspectives on what kind of issues that have emerged over the period of time, and what kind of reforms that are needed, and what kind of solutions are possible. That's what I'm going to, that's it. Now, if you look at the current scenario in the management education, now there are mushrooming of business schools. It's more or less a commoditization. There are, I think, officially there are over 3,000 business schools. Unofficially there can be more than 5,000. I think that's what some of my peers keep telling me all the time. Now these business schools having come, I'm not saying that this growth is not a desirable growth. We do require more schools. We do require expansion of higher education. We do require scaling up of operations. But the problem is, the growth, if it is mindless growth, then we get into all other kind of issues. Now, if you look at all these management institutions all over the country, what is the input profile? Who gets into this management education? By and large, it is the fresher from the college who gets into these institutions. They are hardly 21, 22 years of age, whereas in the West, the average age of a business school graduate is almost 29 years in the class, whereas it is about 21, 22 here in this country. They don't have any experience, as my earlier speakers have said. Now, very varying quality of input, because when I was in BITS earlier, for about 2 decades I served, we used to have an admission process which is called normalized percentage of marks, through which we used to admit the students into various programs of the institute. Now that gave us some benefits, that also did not give us some benefits, that also gave us some difficulties to deal with. Because when we use that normalized percentage of marks, each board is giving us the various levels of marking patterns, different levels of marking patterns. In some state, the highest was 99%. In some other state, the highest was only 68%. In some other state, the highest was only 85%. So we really don't know what kind of quality is coming in. And similarly, the standards of teaching, as our Professor Mittal has been mentioning, the standards of education keep varying from one place to the other, one town to the other, one state to the other. That's how it has been happening in this country all these 3-4 decades. Now, what do we need to do this? How do we go about trying to reform this issue? While we still laud the objective of trying to scale up the operations of management education, in the sense we need to graduate about 2 lakhs or 1 lakh graduates every year. The reason being, in order to sustain the 9% growth rate, or to be able to achieve again 9% growth rate for this country in the GDP, we need to have efficient managers and large number of them to run and man this country's industry and economy. To be able to do that, we need quite a large number of management graduates to graduate from the schools. So what do? We have issues like the pedagogy itself is a problem today. In the sense, the design of the curriculum itself is an issue. That is the first issue that we face. The second issue that if is the delivery of the pedagogy itself is a problem, is also a problem. The third one is the teacher's readiness to be able to adapt himself to the dynamic needs of these pedagogic processes is another problem. These are three problems that we are facing in this country. One is the design, the pedagogy, and the teacher's willingness or teacher's readiness to be able to deliver that. So that's what I said. Need to revisit education, pedagogy, and industry interface, as our colleague also said earlier. Focused on skills for jobs. Need to nurture entrepreneurial skills. Beyond functional silos, therefore we need integrative and holistic programs. Employability skills to bridge industry gaps. Coursework centered on concept delivery and and is missing on practice-oriented approach. This is one of the problems. Because there is a quoteless marketing book, we take the quoteless marketing book and teach quoteless. And all the 4 P's are now they have become 5 P's or whatever, 6 number of P's. Of course, we teach that and finish it off. That's the end of the story. But whereas there is no practice orientation, you don't have an exposure to a real marketing situation. There is no exposure to a real marketing professional who works in the industry, comes with loads and loads of experience or tons and tons of experience to the class and then teach. That is not available. That facility is not available to the student in the management schools. Most of them are suffering from this, including the leading ones. Now, what should we do? Of course, I have been dabbling on various committees and platforms to talk about these issues, and therefore, I myself thought, instead of trying to sit on the committees and trying to help somebody not to do anything, I thought, let me do myself in my own context. So we tried some experiments in terms of 4-pronged strategy. This is practice-oriented pedagogy. Can we design a practice-oriented pedagogy? So what does it mean? The delivery has to be practice-oriented. Now, to start with, what we did in our school is 30% of the sessions in each course, each subject, we need a practitioner from the industry to come and deliver along with the faculty. 70% of the sessions are delivered by the faculty, 30% of the sessions are delivered by the practitioner. Both of them sit together in the beginning of the semester, design the entire course delivery approach, and then share between them the 70% and 30% of the aspect so that they deliver it. So when he comes, there are 2-3 things happen in that situation. One is the appropriate course content gets devised or designed, because he brings in a lot of practical perspectives and industry-related issues and perspectives into the whole curriculum. Number 2, the faculty member gets exposed through him, that he gets connected with the industry. Right now, the faculty member is alien. He does not know. Many of the schools, at least 90% of the schools in my knowledge, are alien to the whole process of industry connect. And the third thing is the student gets enlightened in terms of not only the theory or the concepts, but also the other aspects which are practice-oriented or the practical issues which are involved in applying any theory or in any context. This also is possible. Now, situation-specific analysis and case studies, because now in this country, hardly any case studies are developed by any faculty members. IIM Ahmedabad used to do long ago, but even now the rate at which they produce the case studies is very, very little. Not many cases have been developed. So therefore, as of now, we are only dependent upon the Harvard cases or cases developed by Ivy League schools in the West. So we pay $65 per student to be able to access those cases. So that is the cost that we are paying. Whereas our faculty members need to get oriented towards writing cases on the Indian context. So this is another issue that which I will develop on a little later, if I am permitted some time. Now therefore the faculty members get oriented through these practitioners. And also the other one is a long-term internship program where the faculty supervised program, where faculty also goes to the industry along with the student, in which case he uses the material of the industry where he goes and works and also tries to develop cases, and which we are trying, and we are successful in that. Many of our faculty members are now writing cases and trying to use them in the class. Now the other one is to make student more industry relevant. We evolved a program called Business Orientation Program. This program is a 2-week long program for all the students of the first year. I'll take another 2 minutes. Wherein the CEOs of various companies, large, small, medium entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, all of them come, 1 or 2 per day, and they spend 2-3 hours with the students. They speak, they give their experiences, share their experiences, and give the nuances of the sector or the industry in which he is in. So therefore, as a result, every batch of students has a perspective about at least two dozen company CEOs coming and speaking to them and giving an idea about what are the issues involved in that. The last one, which the strategist has said, is to make it more practice-oriented. Whereas the business schools in this country have a 4-week or 8-week internship programs, which is a perfunctory one, which has for faculty has nothing to do with them. Whereas in our institute, we are trying with an experiment of 14 to 18-week internship, which is completely faculty supervised, faculty driven, and faculty has to evolve the projects before even the student goes to the industry. It is in consultation with the industry experts and the practitioners. Faculty works out a project for which the student goes and works on that for 18 weeks. So these are the 4 types of strategies that we try to use in terms of making the education more relevant so that the student becomes more industry ready. So this is what. Now today we all talk about silos, marketing, finance and so on and so forth. But anyway, what the current day requirement is, business is not just marketing, business is just not finance, business is just not operations. Business is a holistic view of all these aspects. So how do we give this to a student? So maybe the new area which is coming up is the business analytics, through which you can try to put everything together, a finance problem, a marketing problem, everything through analytics. And maybe we have used those. That is one channel through which we are trying to integrate functional areas of management. And the practitioner involvement I have already spoken. And then elective choices. It's very seldom a business school gives a choice to the student. It's already a set program. You sit down in the class, graduate and get out, and nothing else. And whereas the student is never given a choice to choose his own elective, choose his own program, make his own program, and then ultimately make his own career choices, which is not possible. Whereas in our case, we say elective choices is like a cafeteria approach. We offer about 100 electives, go and pick up anything that you want, so that he can make up his own career plan by way of choosing his own courses. Faculty development is another issue. Our colleagues have spoken about it. Then what are those reforms? Aim to bridge faculty industry experience, specific project outcomes, publishing of real-time case studies leads to applied research. All this is because internship exercise, the faculty member, when he goes to the industry for all 18 weeks along with the student, he gets to know all these things. Similarly, practitioner sense, which I have already spoken about it, live projects and courses, linkage to consulting assignments, scope for exploring company-specific projects, leads to faculty and industry congruence. Thank you very much.